Hey YouTube, my name's Alex, and today I thought I'd film a different video for this channel than what I usually do. I've never uploaded a makeup tutorial to this channel, so I thought I'd do my everyday makeup as an 8th grader tutorial. Pretty much what I slap on my face at the beginning of every morning, and so I look good when I walk into hell. Okay, so what I use first is, if you could only afford one skincare product, I would recommend this. Just any old moisturizer. If you have a very specific skin type, I'd recommend just looking for something for your skin, but this moisturizer works best for me. So I'm going to be getting really up close and personal just because I can't see without my glasses on. Now this moisturizer is actually good for oily, dry, and combination skin, which a lot of people seem to not know, because when your face is oily, that just means it's overproducing oil because it needs moisture. And dry parts of your skin, of course, need moisture because it's dry. So moisturizer goes on all and any skin types. That's why I'm putting it all over my face. And I have combination skin, so my chin, nose, and forehead gets really oily, while the sides of my face here stay super dry. So I just put moisturizer everywhere, and that is the first step. Not all of the prep though. Now the next thing I use is a e.l.f. primer, which you can literally get at Walmart. And this is color correcting primer, and my face gets super red all the time. You can kind of even see it starting on the sides of my face. So I just use 2 or 3 pumps just to get a semi-generous amount. And I just put that everywhere that I'm applying foundation. So, on the cheeks, on the chin, everywhere, on the nose. And primer is mostly to just create a barrier between your pores and your foundation, so it makes taking makeup off a lot easier and keeping it on your face. Next for me is foundation. I use a CoverGirl plus Olay color correcting tone rehab, whatever. Y'all don't need my shade. If you just look and swatch in a store, you should be able to figure out your shade. But if you need a cheap dupe, I'd say that the Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse is a nice, but this tone is too dark for me, so I don't use it. So how I apply my foundation is with a little sponge. It looks dirty, that's because it is. I'm nasty, don't judge me. And so how I apply my foundation is I just squirt, that's such a nasty word, onto my cheek, my cheek's chin, little dot on the nose, a little line on the forehead. And then I'll use the bigger end just to blend, or just more so apply the foundation in a circular motion on my cheek, on my chin, my other cheek, just to get the product spread. I'm going to get to the mirror here a little bit. On my nose, I use a circular motion. Forehead, I'm just going in big, general, circular patting motions. And then once I get the product spread all across my face and it starts to blend in, that's when I go in on the longer side of the disposable sponge, and I just use that to pat along everywhere that I have foundation on, just so I can assure that it is blended and seamless. So I just blend along everywhere that I patted prior. So just down the sides of my cheeks, on the sides of my nose especially, because I wear glasses, so I get those little indents, I just want to make sure that everything is blended out and nice. And so after, I'm going to check first. I think that looks pretty nice. Next, I go in with concealer. Now, I have 2 different ones here. One is Born This Way concealer, which I think is amazing and does exactly what concealer is supposed to do. But if you can't afford Born This Way concealer, I would say e.l.f. A lot of people, beauty gurus, go in with their shades, but I don't think I should go in with shade because everybody's a different skin type, a skin color, so I feel like giving out shades is kind of useless. So I'm going to go in with the Born This Way concealer everywhere that concealer goes. Under the eye bags so I don't look like a troll when I walk into school, because I look super dead all the time. Under the eyes, on the front like tip of the nose, on my chin here, on my glabella, who calls it that, and just on any general blemishes that I see around my face. My skin is actually behaving very well today, so be proud of me. And how I blend out my concealer is I use the same end that I use my foundation for, and I blend on the edges and work my way in with concealer, especially under my eyes. I just slowly blend it from the outside, working in, just so everything is seamless. And on nose too, on my chin, on my forehead, and we'll be applying more concealer later with our eyebrows, but that is the next step after we're all blended out. Using the back side again, just to make sure that everything is just smooth and your face doesn't look cakey. Which moisturizer and primer, like especially moisturizer, is the perfect way to make your face not look cakey. That's why I recommend it so heavily. Now next for my face is eyebrows, which I literally got both of these things at CVS. This is a dark brown brow pomade and a little angled brush with a spoolie on the end. How I start is by brushing my eyebrows upward, just to make sure that all the hairs are sticking up and we have a nice workspace. Now, I just get a little bit of product on this angled brush, and then I will use the mirror to see, because I can't see anything, and I just create this thick, dark line as like a guideline for filling in my eyebrows, and that is how I make them super dramatic. Okay, I think that's a good start for a bottom line. Wait a minute. Okay, so that is the bottom line done, and then I brush all the eyebrow hairs down. I think dark eyebrows are the easiest to work with because you mostly just have to fill them in, but I'd recommend more practice to more light-haired individuals who have very light or like invisible brow hairs. I'd recommend just practicing when you're alone so you can get a nice shape and you're able to color them in the way you want. But I think light eyebrows leave a lot of room for creativity, so just own it if you have really light eyebrows. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I left a little chunk, like a fifth of my eyebrow hair, without any product on it, and that is what I brush upward and over. And then with the product left on my brush, I'll just create a little very faint line as a continuation of the brow line here, and then I just use my finger to blend that up. I use my finger to blend out any harsh line in general, but I'll just make sure that it's very dark on the bottom so it creates that like ombre brow effect. This looks kind of stupid. Wait a minute, let me fix it. I think that looks good. My eyebrows kind of aren't treating me right today, but like that's not a problem. I'm gonna do the other brow and then I'll be back for you guys. Okay, so now that both my brows are done, we can go to cutting them out with concealer, which I use a flat concealer brush for, and the same Born This Way concealer that I used on all of my face. And how I cut my brows out, or how I define them, as people say, is just by patting, sorry y'all can't see me, just by patting along the brow shape, not in the hairs though, and then just sweeping down. Same thing on the top. I just follow the line and sweep down. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of using something too light to define their brows or cut out their brows. I'd say literally just use a concealer. It's so much easier to do it that way, and you get the desired effect. And I just pat the concealer on and then sweep it once I start to actually cut them out. And I'd say the most important part is cutting right here under that line that you did, because you don't want to like blend the product in, but you still want it to be super sharp. Now, if at any point your brow fade thing starts to look a little dim, you can literally just use your spoolie brush to brush it up, and they'll look more, like natural and like puffy, I guess. And the same way I blended out my foundation and concealer the first time, little sponge thing I'm going to use to blend out the concealer on my eyelids and above my eyebrows. And I think that's nice and blended out. If anything doesn't look right, just use your spoolie brush to brush up and over. And that is usually how I do my eyebrows. Congratulations if you've made it this far. Okay, so next I'd say is contouring and highlighting. Now, since my concealer is like a tad lighter than my skin tone and it's super pigmented, I kind of use that as like a base highlight. And for contour, I use literally this probably super cheap palette that you can get at like Walmart or like any place that sells super cheap makeup. And it's actually an eyeshadow palette. I use this warm dark brown color and this cooler dark brown color. And how I contour my face is I get a puffy angled brush. I get a very small amount of product of both browns on the end of the brush. I blow off the excess, and then I slowly apply the product while going in an upward circular motion until I have the desired color and warmth on my face. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side. Now, if you guys would like a more in-depth video on how I contour, highlight, do my eyebrows, more glam makeup, or just basics in general, I would not be opposed to doing that, because it took me so long to figure out how to do everything like cheek contour and nose contour and that whole number. And I wish there would have been more in-depth videos when I was learning how to do makeup like this. Now I'm just going to go in with an eyeshadow brush on the same dark brown colors, and I'm going to go down very lightly the bridge of my nose. You can kind of see it on camera. I'm going down very lightly, and then once I get to like this bit of my nose where it's not the tip and it's not the bridge anymore, I just sweep down to make that bit look thinner, because my nose is super thin and like it's kind of thin like up here, and then it gets super wide at the end, so I like to just thin out the end of my nose, and that's mostly what I contour for. And then after I've done that, I'll get my little brush, I call this it's a sponge, and I just very lightly blend it downward. I'd recommend blending nose contour with a brush, just because I prefer that sweeping out method, But other than that, I think this looks okay. 1 second. I think that's good for now. Oh, I forgot temples. Now for my, I almost dropped that. For my temples, same brush, same 2 colors, same kind of blowing away. And you just lightly trace over your temples. And that will be blended out more later. And then I do circles on my forehead. I kind of have no idea what this does, but I've seen it in a bunch of contouring videos, so I hope I'm not doing anything bad. And I use a big fluffy powder brush just to lightly kind of go over everything. This also has a very little bit of baby powder on it, not intentional, but I'm sure it's gonna just mattify everything. And after that's done, we're done with contour. Okay, so next we're going in with highlight. We're doing highlight, so I have a liquid e.l.f. Highlight. It's super bright. If you're not into a really like fierce highlight, I'd recommend going with one of their more peachy highlights. But I just put a little bit on my thumb, the back of my hand. It smells great, by the way. Most of e.l.f.'s products smells really sweet and like candy, and I use an e.l.f. highlighter brush. I get a very little amount because this brush doesn't blend very well. So I use it to apply highlight, and then I'll blend it out with the pad of my finger. I go more so for the front of the cheek, and then I start sweeping it back because I like a lot of glow on the front of my face. And I didn't put a lot of product on the brush just because I like to add gradually. Ooh, and you can see the reflection in the bathroom mirror. It's starting to look good. I may add more later, but just kind of a light highlight, especially for school. You want just like a youthful glow, you know, like you're not like 86 years old and dying, but that's just me. I just apply pretty leisurely because I know the general area that highlight is supposed to be in, and as long as you kind of stay in those confines, or don't listen to rules. Makeup has no rules. I don't know, but you just do makeup how you want. I mean, I'm sure there's like a guideline for trends and such. I put a little bit on the top of my lip, down my nose, and I think that's pretty good. If I need anything a bit more blended out, I'll do that. I put a little bit, there's like no product left on the brush, so I just sweep it up my nose, and you can see the light transfer. It kind of looks weird on camera, but my contour especially, but everything else looks okay. And with that, we can move on to eyes. Now for my eyes, I use just a Wet n Wild Mega Wear mascara. I can use pretty much any mascara as long as it's not like super like cakey, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but first I curl my eyelashes, which I'm not trying to be gross by getting super up close to the camera. I literally just can't see anything. I do that for like 10-15 seconds. Switch to my other eye. Hold that for like 10 to 15 seconds. I love being Jeffree Star, by the way. I love being a skinny legend. I love being a Fortnite queen. I'm literally just... That was not what I wanted to happen. Anyway, I love being Jeffree Star. Love being James Charles. And now I just apply mascara to my hand, apparently. I just do 1 or 2 coats very lightly on my eyelashes. I can't pay attention to what I'm saying and put. And I have an Android, so when I look into the camera, it's literally just like blurry, like I'm blind. Like, how many fingers am I holding up? I can't see in the viewfinder of my camera. I can see in the mirror, can't see in my camera. Because I own an Android, and Androids are for, not gonna say that. That's kind of rude. Anyway. And now this next thing I'm gonna do is for the brave, for the people who live life on the edge, for the risk takers. Do as I say, not as I do. don't do this. But I'm gonna use the eyelash curler. I'm gonna go back in after my mascara, literally just pump, and then I'm done. Like, I'm not holding it for any amount of time. I just do this because I like long eyelashes without using fake lashes, because fake lashes are for aliens. I made it worse. I made it so much worse. I'm not calling people who wear fake eyelashes crazy people. I just don't know how to do it. So yeah. So just going over, I think I'm forgetting something. I also just, as like a translucent kind of setting powder, I will use just a tad bit of baby powder just for some of the wet products on my face. Although I do tend to avoid my highlighted areas, literally only because I don't want to lose any glow. So I'm just gonna make sure that none of that really stays on me. And this next step is totally optional, but sometimes I will add blush, which I use this lighter color, this lighter blush, and I will just tap it onto like right here. I don't even use my whole cheek. I just tap it. Y'all can't even see it. That's what I want. And I'll sometimes go in with these two brown colors, the same thing I used to contour, and just very lightly sweep some onto my lid, just so I can get some color in my eyes and make them a bit more defined. Some days I'll tight line my eyes just to make the lash band look thicker, but we're not messing with that today. And I think that is the finished look. I use some setting spray. Oh, lips. For lips, I literally just put on like some chapstick or some lip balm, like some Vaseline or something, and then I just I inhaled that. I actually breathed that in. That was disgusting. So while that's drying, I think that's the end. I think that's the end of the video. If this wasn't helpful, I totally get that. I'm sorry, but like, hopefully I can make this funny in editing, because like, I hate myself and I feel like this isn't funny at all. So I'll try to just like fix it by making jump cuts everywhere. So yeah, I think that is it. I wear uniforms to my school, so I need like some way to freshen it up. Some days I'll do like more glam makeup. If y'all want to see more glam makeup tutorials, it literally looks like I'm wearing nothing. But if y'all want to see more glam tutorials, I'm addicted to glam makeup. I hate natural looks, but I just like wearing a little something to school. And for all of you guys who are trying to kind of find your makeup style, and going to school in makeup may be scary at first, but once you get something down and you're confident, nothing's gonna stop you. So yeah, if you like this video, comment, like, subscribe if you want to see more of my awkward grossness. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.